Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Farming Simulator 22. We are back on Old Family Farm, and I'm just watching this duck family. Man. Oh man, a subscriber, and actually, more importantly, to be honest, a friend of the channel. Oh, here we go. Reached out to me and said that they you'd done a little tweaking on Old Family Farm, and was wondering if I was interested in in having some ducks running around the farm. And I said, well, yeah, of course I'm interested in having ducks run around the farm. And so he sent me an updated Old Family Farm map. Um, if you watched, oh, sorry, I still have that fast running on. If you watched, I did um, a bicycle, a little short where I was running the bicycle to compact our silo here. And you can see I've got it covered and it's fermenting. The texture on it was kind of funky. It looked, pretty, I don't know, textury. It didn't look right. And he reached out to me again and said that he had looked into it, found a fix, and sent me another updated Old Family Farm map file, which I've applied, and you can see our texture is back to being normal, which is awesome. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. And see, that's what I'm talking about when I say the farming simulator community. And in particular, there are just some people out there that are just really nice and love the game as much as I do, and maybe even more, who knows, and come up with these things. And they are a trip. I just can't get over watching these watching these baby ducks just running around. It's so amazing. So anyways, we are back here on Old Family Farm. We're still in August, which I don't know. It seems like we've got, well, it's a month, I guess. We're playing 1 day month. So I guess it's not like we got a ton done in 1 day versus we've gotten quite a bit done in a month. And I was just kind of thinking about, I'm just thinking what we could get done today. Y'all came and y'all watching the video. So I thought maybe we'd get something done. I won't put you through that horrible Southern accent. It's bad. This is what I was thinking about starting today, though, getting a little seeding going, because the sooner we get these fields seeded, the better, so that we can get some cash money coming in. It looks like, well, it's looking like canola, isn't it? You're going to have to move, buddy. I'm sorry, but the the chickens I didn't care so much about, but running ducks over just seems cruel and inhumane. I don't know. Let's hop on this, let's hop on the farm all. And yeah, I think that's what we're doing. I don't know. I'm kind of jumping into this kind of quick tonight. I'm actually recording this Tuesday night. I usually record it the night before, but I'm a little bit early. I noticed a lack of mods here today on Tuesday. I don't know if Giants had the day off. I don't think so. I also noticed, oh, move, little baby duck. Move. He's not going to move. We'll take him out of the frame so we don't see running him over. It feels horrible. Let's make sure our planter, our seeder actually. Where's the there it is at the top. Okay, so canola, and it looks like we've got plenty of seed in there. We are planting canola. Yes, we are planting canola. And I'll tell you, I was hiring out for this work, but that's expensive. So we're just gonna have to buckle down and get, whoa, what's going on here? This is 3 miles an hour. Did I like pick the most underpowered? I think I might have picked the most underpowered tractor we have. Let's check something out real quick. Something else I was going to show you in here anyways, but there's our leased items. Man, I always go too far for the owned items. There we go. I always forget what our horsepower is. So the John Deere is the highest. We could probably grab him. The Massey. We could maybe use the Massey. 30 horse. No wonder, Mr. Fireball. Oh, I know what else I was going to show y'all. Somebody reached out and mentioned, and I apologize because man, I got to start taking some meds for this short-term memory business. This is getting awful. Somebody mentioned a tractor that they thought would be nice to have on the farm, and I did add it. I thought I did. Is it is it this? I think it is this Farmall right here. That is very nice and not a lot of money, all things considered. 50 horsepower. We can get it up to 80. That would be nice to have an 80 horsepower tractor on the farm. We're going to have to keep that in mind for sure. Then the other thing I thought we had, I like these Fords too, but they're a little out of our reach at the moment. And I don't know what year these are from either. If any of you know, let me know in the comments. I'm not entirely sure. Are they 70s or what are these things? But I do like those Fords. Then there was, I thought there was a Lizard. I thought there was a Lizard tractor. Kind of one of those unbranded things. Maybe I forgot to add it. And then Giants released this Porsche Diesel Junior, not this one that I'm showing you, but one that I haven't added to this set. But I like a lot of these tools, and I thought we could start getting some of these implements and maybe even pick up this Porsche tractor. It's 50 horse. It's not like it's, a lot of horsepower, but it does have a lot of nice implements to it. So maybe that's something we can strive for a little bit. It's kind of weird to think about having a Porsche tractor on this farm a little bit, I think, but if we can just kind of ignore the name, because I'm assuming there weren't a lot of Porsche tractors running around in the States, in North America during the Great Depression. That's at least a guess of mine. I don't know. I'm not a highly educated person, but I'm kind of trying to put two and two together. Where is our Massey? Here we go. Hello, Mr. Massey. Oh, and no, stop. I want to park you. Why won't you park? You first need to unfold. Wait, I need to unfold it. Oh, fold it, Brad. There you go. I was doing a little digging around in the barn here on Old Family Farm, cheating, and I found. Let me go take you over here real quick. I took the John Deere down to, this is another thing. Somebody gave me a good name for our shop owner down there, and it was a good one of those double, first name, middle name combos. That was perfect. Terry Lynn or something like that. I'm going to have to look that up. I apologize. I know who sent that to me, so I know where to look at the comments for that. So I was doing a little looking, and I had them put on our front loader on our John Deere. I thought, you know what? Let's get our front loader bar on our John Deere. And then I found these two things hiding here in the shed. A little bit of a cheat. But I did find these things, which is going to be great because we're going to need something like this to help us unload that bunker silo once our silage ferments. And I think that gets you up to speed on everything I've got going on here on Old Family Farm, I think. And let's get our seeder connected, and we'll get some more seeding done. And I think this Massey will pull this seeder a little bit better than our Farmall. It's interesting, this seeder doesn't really... You know what? I was going to say something that's kind of silly. I was going to say when I start the seeder, it doesn't make any noise, but guess what? This seeder doesn't have a... How is this seeder run? It doesn't have a PTO, does it? So it just kind of, it's one of those drag along, get it done kind of seeders, I guess. Well, let's see what kind of speed we can get out of this thing. Maybe that's what this seeder is. Oh, no, it's 4 miles an hour now. We won't quite get 4. Oh, this is not going to be a fast... Not going to be the fastest of all accomplishments in the world, but oh well. It is what it is. As long as we're getting seed in the ground, I guess I'm okay with that. I'm not sure of a way. Well, I do know of one way of getting some free hired help. And maybe there's more ways. If you all know of anything, let me know. But I know that with Courseplay, I think you can set... I don't think I have Courseplay installed, though. No, I don't. I don't even know if Courseplay is going to work on this map, if I'm being honest. Maybe if we drew up... We might be able to generate custom courses. Maybe that's something to consider. Because I know with Courseplay, at least I'm pretty sure with Courseplay, you can turn off wages. And maybe that's something we need to consider, because I feel like we need maybe a little bit of help on the farm to keep getting things done and moving along. Maybe I'm wrong, but it just feels that way. Like it wouldn't hurt. But I know last time I hired help, I about bankrupted us, so I kind of want to avoid going down that alley again if I can. But hired help does do a little bit nicer job than I do, I think, for the most part. So hope you're all having a good week. We are on Thursday already. It's hard to believe we're back here on the farm. That's pretty sweet. I'm thinking this week has actually gone by pretty quick. It's been kind of a mild week, unless I'm forgetting anything as far as Farming Simulator goes. I did see a video. I don't remember much of the details, but I did see where I think DJ Goham put out a video leaking some of the, or there was a leak about some of the, pre-purchase equipment for the Platinum Pack. I kind of watched it, I kind of didn't, and then I forgot about it, and so I didn't really catch all the details, but it looks like there is going to be some equipment that is kind of bonus equipment if you pre-purchase the Platinum Pack. Are you all planning on buying the Platinum Pack? Is that kind of a gimme for most of us who kind of are this into the game? We watch the game on YouTube, we play the game a lot. Is the Platinum Pack kind of a gimme? I feel like it kind of is, and I'm not even super thrilled about this particular pack. I just, mostly because of the logging influence on it. But I can't not buy it, I think is how I feel a little bit about it. You know, I kind of can't afford not to, in a way. You know, first of all, I want the content for the channel. I want to be able to share some of it with you all, and also it's a major, you know, it's the biggest addition to the game that we've had so far, right, since the introduction. And I don't want to be left out, you know. I don't want to be left out. Oh, and if I'm being honest, I'm just looking so forward to walking around and driving around and flying around the map to build up that which shall not be named, cache, that I can't help myself. Any chance I get, oh, look at that little baby duck following us. Cute little thing. Cute little thing. It's gonna get run over. Cute little thing. He's just running right in front of the tractor, you little idiot. I don't know if it's nature weeding out the stupid or what. Oh man, I love those ducks. So, yep, that'll be the first thing that'll be on my list to do when the Platinum Pack installs. Is I'll be hopping in a Volvo, driving around the farm, driving around the map, building up shader cache. Yoo-hoo! Then once the game smooths out, you can actually kind of check out different things. I am super curious on the whole winching operation. I think from the based on the forums, that's one of the biggest draws people have towards this Platinum Pack is the addition of winching in the base game. And I apologize, the name of it, maybe it'll come to me, but that thing, you know, that'll drag, the drag line, is that what it is? Drag line? That'll bring logs up, or up the hill, down the hill, or whichever way it goes. As far as the painting trees goes, okay, you know, alright. I don't know. Okay. I don't know what else you can say about it. I don't know. I'm not like jacked about it, if I'm being honest. It's like, okay. Probably, I'm also really looking forward just to see the Volvo equipment, see how Giants models some of these. If indeed there is supposed to be some older Volvo equipment, the old Volvo truck, that cab over truck, I really dig. I think that's going to be cool. I actually made a comment when that was first announced, and I said, you know, it's really nice to have it in the game, but it seems a little weird to see a Volvo cab over in the Pacific Northwest of America. I said that just doesn't seem like it fits. Like they would have been, you know, like I didn't think there were that many Volvo cab overs. And somebody responded, I guess, who's from that region, and I'm going to take their word for it. They said that that actually it's not that out of place. That that Volvo cab over Volvos were definitely a thing. I think it's an 80s cab over, if I'm not, maybe a 70s. I've seen them on YouTube in real life. There were a couple that were being shown off on that Stavros channel I think I've mentioned before. He's from Ireland. And they are really cool looking. I just don't know, you know, just didn't seem super fitting. But, you know, dance with the one that brung you, and pretty much Volvo is the one that's brung us to this map. I mean, let's face it, it's... I don't know, you know, maybe I'm completely wrong, but I don't think we'd be seeing a Pacific Northwest logging map if Volvo wasn't introduced into the game. You know what I'm saying? And maybe that's kind of a yeah, duh kind of a thing, right? But, and that's fine. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I just, you know, it is what it is. And in fact, I'm not taking credit for anything, but I pretty much knew straight away when they announced Volvo as being the brand. I'm like, yep, we're getting a logging map. You know, there's just no doubt about it. It's when they were making that much of a deal out of that big Volvo logger and stuff. It doesn't take a genius, right, to figure out what's coming next. Because if it did take a genius, I wouldn't have figured it out. That's for darn sure. Oh man. So yeah, this is pretty relaxing. You know, I don't mind this this seeding business. It's a bit slow. But the one advantage I would give it is you can be fairly accurate with going 3 or 4 miles an hour. It's not like you're under a lot of stress to keep the rows super straight. And it does look pretty nice. And I think canola will be a decent crop for us. I don't think we had a lot of choices in August for what we could plant. So canola was kind of our thing. I'm kind of thinking this is actually going to be the one field we do get planted here in August, and we'll probably skip forward to September before we get to the other field, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, opens up some possibilities, doesn't it, for what we can plant? So planting season, yeah, because canola, and then at least we can do wheat and barley. We're definitely not going to do poplar, and I don't think planting any more grass is really worth doing at this point. So yeah, we might as well plant on either a wheat or barley crop over on that field right there. I think we're a little ways away from being able to expand our farmland. I guess it just depends on how well we do with the silage. I'm actually really counting on that bunker over there of silage to move us along a little bit. We are playing on hard mode, or are we playing on, wait, sorry about that. Where is my modes? Yeah, we are playing on economic on the hard mode, so we're also not going to get as much for the silage as we would on the medium or the easy mode, but things weren't easy on farms that many years ago, and have to take what we can get. This Massey's doing a nice job for us, though, I think. I know we've got a planter. Be nice to get a seeder that has a little bit faster seeding speed. We've got a 2-row, what is it, a 2-row? 2-row, no, that's a planter as well. Yeah, this 2-row planter here, all right. So we'll just have to take what we have and work with it and get her done. At least we're not going through a ton of seed. We do have, if I remember correctly, we've got a pallet of seed in that barn right over there that we can use. So we're not going to be spending any money on seed for a bit, which is kind of nice. Are we getting some wheel slip? Or is it just kind of speeding up and slowing down, speeding up and slowing down? This thing won't take a front weight, will it? It might be worth grabbing the John Deere and just seeing how it does with this seeder. You think we should do that? It might be worth it. Let's do that just for fun. Let's just see how this does with the seeder. Sometimes you get some weird oddities with combinations like this where I've seen, where even lower horsepower tractors just seem to handle some implements better. Maybe it's the weight of the tractor, maybe it's the way the tractor was modded and the way the engine specs are laid out, or whatever it might be. Sometimes you just run across stuff like that. So let's For the time it takes, we might as well try and just see if we get a little bit. I guess I could look at the planter details and just see if it's rated at 3 miles an hour, couldn't I? And if it is, then it is what it is. If that made any sense. Oh yeah, see. Yeah, that's not helping us out. I actually think the Massey almost sounds a little bit, I was going to say the engine sounds on the Massey might be a little bit nicer too, but might be worth throwing if we could get a front weight for this thing. I do have some wheel weights on there though, don't I? So that should help. Now I am definitely curious to find out. 2.1, 6 miles an hour. It's rated at 6. And it says it only needs 20 horsepower. So what am I doing wrong here to not get 6 miles an hour out of it? Is it just the way it is, or am I missing something? I guess let me know if you see something I'm missing other than maybe throwing a front weight on one of these tractors. Maybe that would help. Other than that though, we're getting pretty much 3 or 4 miles an hour on this thing. And I don't think I can hook it up to the Jeep. Otherwise I honestly would try. Let's see, lift, open cover, change cruise. You don't even have an on-off for the seater. So yeah, unless I'm missing something, at least the seater's spec'd at 6 miles an hour. Maybe I'll play with that after the recording and just see if I can, just for fun, throw a front weight on one of these tractors and see if that indeed helps. But I don't see much tire slip on with the John Deere. And it does have the rear wheel weight, so I don't know. Interesting. Sorry I doubted you, Massey Ferguson. You were doing just fine. Well, you were doing just as good as... Shoot, even that little Farmall was doing just as good, if I'm being honest. I just thought that thing was underpowered, and that's why we were getting, you know, such low speeds. Take the Jeepster down to the shop and have them weld a 3-point onto the back of it, and we can use that thing. So I'm trying to stay away from, you know, I felt like the last episode I made, which was Kubota Farm episode, I felt like I got a little preachy. I apologize if I did. I just needed to get that stuff off my chest about, you know, with Farming Simulator and the optimization and stuff like that. And there's just things that sometimes, you know, but, you know, if you don't like a game, I feel like sometimes the more you like a game, sometimes the more critical you can be over it. And maybe that follows true in many things in life, you know. You know, if you like something a lot, you know, you care more about it. You know, if you don't like something, you don't care about it. You don't care if it's, you know, a wreck or if it's maintained or whatever, you know, like a car or something. If you love your car, you know, you take care of it. But if you, I had a friend that hated his car. Oh man, it was 1976. I think it was a 76 or 77 Maverick, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm not too far off on those dates. But it was a Maverick. It was a pea green, nasty green Maverick, and he hated that car. He loved it and he hated it both, you know. I think because he hated it so much that he actually started liking it, one of those things. And the thing would not die. It was just one of those cars that it didn't matter what you did to it. And trust me, he tried a few things that, I mean, it eventually met its demise. It eventually met its demise in a, excuse me, in a, in a city. I still remember it because I remember the noise it made. It was, oh man. So we were playing tennis. Don't judge me. We were young. We were playing tennis at a city park, and it was near my house, so I had walked there, but he had driven there to meet me, and he had driven his Maverick, right? And when he got there, I remember asking him, now this isn't in the 70s. The Maverick was like a 76 or 77 kind of thing. Maybe I'm off on that. Maybe it wasn't an 80 or something like that. Anyways, this was in high school. So the Maverick was already, you know, many years old. Had a lot of miles on it. You know, it was a Minnesota car, so it had some, you know, rust. And back then, they really rusted. Like, American-made cars back, well, American-made and Japanese, didn't really matter. Rust was a pretty big issue, especially in you know, the northern states where I've always lived, and this thing was rusted. The body wasn't really all that bad, but the frame was rusted and the floorboards were rusted out, and it was like the Flintstone car. Not quite that bad, but the passenger side of the car, when you got in it, you had to put your feet up towards the firewall because there was a hole you'd see, you know, all the way down to the road. It was just rusted out, right? And it was freezing cold in the wintertime, so I wouldn't drive it in the winter, or ride in it in the winter, very little. But so he pulls up in this thing. Anyways, he pulls up in this thing. We're playing tennis. We get done. I remember it making some nasty noises, but what was new, right? So we're done playing tennis, and we go out to his car. He fires it up, and we're chit-chatting. And he gets in it to drive away, and he puts it in reverse. I don't even know if the thing moved a foot. And there was this god-awful, loud bang. And then the sound of metal hitting cement or hitting blacktop. And I'm standing next to him outside the driver's window, and he just looks at me with one of these looks, like almost a look of acceptance that his car was no more. And I just bent down and looked underneath it, and the transmission was laying on the ground, and there was whatever was it, transmission oil. I don't know if the rear seal blew on it, or catastrophic failure, needless to say, of epic proportions. And that was the end of the Maverick. That was it. The Maverick was no more. I honestly, I'm trying to think of what he got next, because the guy never owned. He was one of those guys that always owned the cars that you made fun of the most. Like, he owned an old Pinto. He owned an old Gremlin. I don't know if any of you remember Gremlins. Quite possibly the ugliest car ever made. But yeah, he owned a lot of those AMC nasty cars. I think he even owned one of those Eagle. Was it your AMC Jeep Eagle dealer, right? You older people know exactly what I'm talking about. And there was this Eagle, I think it was an AMC or an Eagle that had wood paneling. It was a wagon. It was supposed to be kind of a off-roady kind of thing, I guess, like maybe a cousin to the Jeep or something like that. And he was even, and I don't know if he was even tempted one time to buy a Ford Bronco. And I remember begging him to do it. Like, please get this Bronco, man, because it was the Ford Bronco, the hardtop, where you could actually take the hardtop off. And it would have been like the first legit decent ride the guy owned, and I think he was just allergic to buying decent cars. And but yeah, that Maverick was no more. It ended up I think he got, you know, 25, 30 bucks from the junkyard for it. I at this point completely forgot why I even brought that up, but that is definitely the Maverick story. I can't say that my family was much better though. My dad was also someone who didn't seem, let's just say, styling in a car wasn't his top priority. He bought, I know we owned when I was younger, we owned what was it, a Dodge Dart. And I forget if it was a Dart or if it was, what was the equivalent to a Dodge Dart? Was it a Pontiac, like something? There was an equivalent. I forget what it was. I forget it. So I forget if it was a true Dodge Dart or the equivalent. And then we also owned, that was embarrassing enough, it was this bright orange. I remember hiding in the back seat when we were driving around because it was truly an embarrassing car. We owned a Vista Cruiser. You know those station wagons with the big 454 big block V8s in them? Like the family truckster from the Griswolds? We had a Vista Cruiser. Now that thing, I'm going to tell you right now, it didn't mean much to me when I was a kid. I mean, it kind of meant something to me because it was, you know, it was the vacation car, right? You packed your family in a station wagon and you took your vacations. And the Vista Cruiser had these amazing moonroofs, sunroofs in the, like, throughout. You know, check it out if you don't know what I'm talking about. But really, for its day and age, it was styled pretty cool that way. I mean, a ton of light came in. It was also made it exceptionally hot in the back end of that thing. So the kids were packed in the back end of the Vista Cruiser, of course. So it's like 110 degrees going down the highway. I also remember, just totally unsafe, completely unsafe. It had one of those rear facing. Okay, so the back tailgate was the type that didn't swing open. It actually was mechanical and slid down underneath the back. I don't know if I'm describing it right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't swing open. It actually, and it didn't fold. It actually just curved down underneath the back part of the car, which really is kind of cool when you think about it. But it's another point of failure, number one. So when that thing broke, you know, you're kind of screwed because there's no other way to open the back tailgate because it was completely mechanically dependent, right? And then that's also, the Vista Cruiser is also the car that got hit by the snowplow one winter, and that ended its life. That snowplow messed that Vista Cruiser up. Yeah, that was a shame. That was a sad day. But overall, the Vista Cruiser, though, I actually kind of give a thumbs up to that. And it'd be kind of sweet to have a mint Vista Cruiser. In fact, there's a mod out for Farming Simulator that looks identical to the Vista Cruiser we had growing up. And pretty sweet ride. Huge V8. Massive V8. That thing even survived a cracked block. We were on vacation one summer. I think it was a Minnesota to Ohio trip. And I guess it overheated. You know, I was pretty young, so I don't remember all the details. But I do remember stopping several times at like Bob Evans. And at a Bob Evans and who knows what else, you know, to get water for the thing, right? Well, apparently my dad either didn't get enough water or something happened. And the thing overheated. We made it to Indiana, and we were stuck there for several days while the mechanic, I think they had to throw an engine in it, throw a motor in it. I think it cracked the block. I don't think you're able to normally repair cracked blocks, are you? Maybe back then you could. Maybe they just said screw it, weld it, you know, send it off to the races. I don't know. But I remember that motor being absolutely massive. Probably got like 5-6 miles an hour or miles to the gallon. The carbon footprint on that was probably, well, yeah. By today's standards, you know. But a lot of good memories in that Vista Cruiser, no doubt. Then he brought home a Chrysler. Is it a Reliant? Was it a Pontiac or Chrysler? A K car. That's what it was. A Dodge Aries K car. I think I'm saying that right. It was supposed to be, according to Consumer's Digest, at the time, it was supposed to be, you know, the best bang for your buck. The value-minded car, right? I hated that car. I really hated that car. It was a piece of junk from the get-go. And then that was the time, too, that car, because he didn't buy it new. I don't know if he ever bought. That's not true. He did buy a new car. I think I'll have to ask him about that. But most of the cars he bought were used. And this thing, though, turns out it had an odometer rollback done to it. After my dad bought it, I guess, I don't know, I'll have to ask him about that, but somehow it was found out that the dealership had rolled the odometer back on the thing. And I forget what the outcome on that was. I think my dad ended up either getting some money back for it or something. I don't know. But that thing was a train wreck from the get-go. I learned to drive on a 98, what was it, Oldsmobile 98. I think that's what it was, a big sled. When you could still get, like, this was a 4-door. It's kind of like a Cadillac ripoff, right? It was meant to be, you know, all comfortable and, you know, power glide and you know, you could run over a Volkswagen and probably not even notice it. It was a big car, a big car, and I learned to drive on that thing. And actually, that was a nice car. I remember that being a pretty nice car. It was definitely a big old American car. And I can say that probably tells a lot of you exactly what I'm talking about. They were comfortable. They were roomy. They were typically horribly made as far as the body goes. I'm sorry, but I remember the seams on that car. You could take a marble and roll it down the seam between the hood and the fender, and by the time it got down to the bumper, you'd need a bowling ball to stay in that crack on that groove. Yeah, American cars, they didn't much. They weren't like looking for precision when it came to body work at that point. It is what it is. But But they were big and roomy, and they were, you know, they were comfortable to sit back on long drives and chill in, that's for sure. But I remember the Olds 98 being a decent car. I don't think there was a lot of problems with that car. But I'll tell you, I think it was, at least during my time with the family, you know, growing up, I think the first new car they bought was a Toyota Camry. Up until then, my dad had always bought American cars that I can remember, at least. I don't think they really owned any foreign cars, particularly that I could think of. I think when my dad was younger, I think he might have owned a Volkswagen something, but so he bought a Camry. I think it was an '87 when they were still pretty boxy looking kind of Camry. It was a 5-speed manual. Oh, I miss manual. I miss manual transmissions. I prefer them. I think they're more fun to drive. I do kind of miss them, but anyways, it was a 5-speed. And probably the best car they ever owned. In fact, I would say it most certainly was the best car they ever owned. Because they have bought Camrys ever since. I don't think they have bought other things. I know that they had a Dodge Caravan. I think they had a Nissan pickup for a while. But yeah, they've owned Camrys. That's pretty much been their de facto car since I left the house, and I gotta tell you, they've been very, very good cars. So I don't know, it is what it is. So there you go. Like it or not, you just listen to the history of at least the cars my family had when I was growing up, since the time of my birth to leaving the house. But look at that, though. Look what we got done during that whole thing. We got a field of canola. Pretty stinking sweet. Very nice. So, I think that's going to wrap it up for this episode of The Old Family Farm. I think what we'll do... we still have time to hit this, but I kind of want to wait until we can do wheat or barley. It'd be nice to get another different crop in here. I don't think we own any other property that we can plant yet. Let's just take a quick peek at something. So if we go here, we just planted that. Our farmland is through here. Oops, I didn't want to select that. $7,000. Not as bad as I thought, actually. How much is this big boy? 12,000. You know, we might not be that entirely far off on picking up a piece of property once we get... I'm trying to... This map, it's kind of hard to tell, but I know this whole area here, you know, is over the cow area. I think our bees are over here somewhere. It's kind of hard to... Yeah, I think our bees are right along in here, and this is where the silo is. Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell from that map entirely. I'm map challenged as it is, so there's that. But I think we also checked, if I remember correctly. Hey, little buddy. I think we also checked over here. We did decide that we own this, don't we? So we can actually, if we get, we can actually, what am I looking for? Mow. We could actually mow all of this, all of that. I mean, we have a lot of grass we can mow and collect and ferment for silage. And this is money in the bank right here if we get a cutting on this. So we might want to consider getting that done. I mean, this grass and that whole field right there, we can mow and do silage. And silage adds up. No question about it. And I think as far as fermenting on this thing goes, it won't be done until August. So what, into September would be my guess. So we might not be selling silage until October. I think silage peaks in the winter months, doesn't it? Where is our silage? I should know this by now. I've looked at it 100 times, I'm certain. Straw, hay, grass, wood, silage. There we go, Brad. Yeah, that peaks in January, February, starts diving in March. So actually that might work out pretty well. Pricing on it 158 right now per liter, maxes out at 189. Okay. What I say per liter? I don't think it's quite that. I don't think it's per liter. I made that mistake. Anyways, yeah, that'll work out good. All right, everyone. I think that's going to take care of us now then for Old Family Farm for this edition of Throwback Thursday. We got a field planted. When I see you next Thursday, let's make some decisions on maybe going ahead and moving forward a month so we can get that other field taken care of and get this stuff over here finished up too. You all take care of yourselves. Thanks for joining me again on here on Old Family Farm. Make sure you take care of each other too. That's very important. And I will see you Friday if you would. Come see me back in East Vineland. Somebody reached out to me, by the way, who was familiar with that area, lived in, I think they said New Jersey, or at least in that area, and had visited East Vineland area many occasions. And I asked him if the map gave a nice, a nice accuracy or a feeling of that region. And yeah, he said, yeah, absolutely. The map definitely gives an accurate vibe and look and feel, and even the roads, are correct and whatnot. So that was pretty cool having a little chat with that person. So I'm thankful for them for reaching out to me in the comments. That was really cool to hear. So say bye to the ducks. You all take care of yourselves. I'll see you here, or I'll see you back in Kubota Farm on Friday. If I don't, you all have a really, really good weekend. Be safe, and I'll see you soon.